A hush fell over the courtroom the moment she walked in. Lieutenant Commander Mara Hayes, combat-scarred, steel-spined, and wearing the one thing that set every eye on fire, her Medal of Honor. Nobody expected a woman her age, her quiet posture, her unshakable calm, to carry the nation's highest military award. But today, none of that mattered to the man sitting at the bench. Judge Roderick Sloan leaned forward, his jaw tightening as if her presence alone challenged his authority. And before a single argument could be made, he gave an order that sent a shockwave through every corner of the room. "Commander Hayes, remove that medal, right now. If you're new here and you love stories of courage, justice, and unexpected twists, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because this one is going to stay with you long after it ends." Mara didn't flinch. She didn't blink. She simply lifted her chin, the Medal of Honor catching the sharp white light above her like a defiant star. The room murmured, people shifting uneasily. Everyone knew the reputation of Judge Sloan, strict, cold, and furious whenever someone dared to outshine him. But this, ordering a Medal of Honor recipient to take off the symbol of her sacrifice, that was beyond arrogance. That was dangerous. Her attorney whispered for her to comply, reminding her that the judge held her fate in his hands. But Mara stayed still. Memories flickered through her mind. The explosion in Kandahar, the cry of her team trapped under rubble, the moment she refused to leave them and instead held a collapsing wall with her own body weight so the others could escape. The medal wasn't decoration. It was the story of lives saved, scars earned, and nights she wished she could forget. Removing it felt like erasing those who never made it home. Judge Sloan slammed his gavel. "This is my courtroom. You will follow my instructions." Still she remained silent. The prosecutor smirked, sensing an easy victory, but everyone else could feel a shift in the air, a pressure building, like a storm crawling across the horizon. Mara's refusal wasn't rebellion, it was dignity, and somehow that made the judge even angrier. Just when the tension reached its breaking point, the double oak doors at the back of the courtroom swung open. A single officer walked in, broad-shouldered white uniform, crisp as truth, gold trim blazing like fire. Conversations died instantly. Even Judge Sloan's face lost color. It was Admiral Jonathan Pierce, Chief of Naval Operations, and Mara's former commanding officer. Nobody expected him. Nobody was warned. He simply arrived. The Admiral walked with slow, deliberate steps, the kind that carried both authority and history. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't wait to be recognized. He stood directly beside Mara, his presence transforming the entire atmosphere. For a moment, Judge Sloan seemed to forget how to breathe. "Your Honor," Admiral Pierce said calmly, "I was informed that a Medal of Honor recipient was being asked to remove her award before this court. I came to witness this, personally." The judge tried to gather himself. "This is irregular. This is my courtroom." Pierce raised one hand and the entire room froze. "With respect, Judge Sloan, that medal stays exactly where it is. The United States Navy will not allow one of its finest heroes to be stripped of her honor because someone finds it inconvenient." A quiet gasp rippled across the benches. The prosecutor sank into his chair, and for the first time in his long career, Judge Roderick Sloan didn't have a single word to say. His power, so absolute moments ago, evaporated in the presence of a man whose authority far outranked his own, and a woman whose courage eclipsed them both. Admiral Pierce turned slightly toward Mara, his voice softening. "You carried your team out of hell. You carry their memory with you. Don't you dare lower your head for anyone." Mara nodded, her eyes burning, not with shame but with the weight of everything she had endured to stand here today. The Admiral then faced the courtroom. "Let the record show that Commander Hayes stands with the full support of the United States Navy, and she will be treated with the respect she has earned." Silence. Heavy, absolute. Judge Sloan cleared his throat, his voice suddenly small. "The medal may remain, but the Admiral wasn't finished." "Not may, Your Honor," he said quietly, "will." The order hung in the air like a law older than the courtroom itself. From that moment on, the atmosphere shifted. The judge avoided Mara's eyes. The prosecutor stumbled over his words. And the jurors, once uncertain, now saw her not as a defendant, but as a woman who had carried wounded soldiers through fire and refused to bow even to a courtroom's intimidation. Her testimony would later change the verdict. Her courage that day would become a whispered legend among military circles. But more importantly, every person in that room walked out changed. As Mara left the courthouse with the Admiral beside her, cameras flashed, reporters shouted, and strangers stood in reverent silence. The medal on her chest glimmered not in defiance, but in truth. She had fought for her brothers and sisters in uniform, and today someone fought for her. And for the first time in a long time, she felt seen. Now I want to hear from you. From which part of the country are you watching this video?